All right, guys. So the U.S. and China have agreed on a 90-day pause to the tariffs. We got a lot of breakdowns for this. So essentially what's happened over the weekend, I kind of gave a little bit of an update on this Friday about what they were going to talk about, what this could mean for markets. And yeah, 90-day pause on tariffs for the U.S. and China. So the U.S. and Chinese officials have agreed to a 90-day pause on their escalating tariff tit for tat, halting any new tariff increases while they pursue broader negotiations. The tariff rate cuts are massive and reciprocal. The U.S. will slash its top duties on Chinese imports from 145% to 30%, and China is going to reduce its tariffs on American goods from 125 to 10%, a 115-point cut on each side. The agreement cancels out 91% of current tariff lines and suspends another 24% of the duration of the truce. A separate 20% U.S. tariff tied to their alleged role in one of the crises remains in place, exempt from the pause. Negotiations also tackled non-tariff barriers, including Chinese export controls on critical minerals, and included a pledge on enhanced cooperation on curbing drug trafficking. Markets cheered. Obviously, the NASDAQ up to almost 21,000. It just honestly just tapped 21K just now. It didn't quite hit it. It got up to 20,991 and a half, but it's basically testing 21,000 for the first time in a long time this morning. So obviously good news. Obviously good news. And yeah, we'll see if the markets continue to run. Both sides emphasize that this is a provisional step designed to build confidence and avoid economic decoupling, with the goal of reaching a more comprehensive long-term agreement before the pause expires. So yeah, this is just kind of a prelim deal that they got going on. And yeah, pretty good news. Honestly, pretty good news. We'll see if it continues. Let me see. Let me find the chat here. Is the chat celebrating? If you followed me, you knew this was coming this weekend. I didn't know they were going to pause tariffs, but we guys told you about this Geneva meet this weekend and what it could mean. Still no deal done necessarily, but it's definitely optimistic. Pre-market on fire. Yeah, honestly, it seems like a really good day today to trade as well. The volatility is really nice this morning. So very solid volatility. Seems like a good day to trade in general. Look at everything up huge. Nvidia up big, Nvidia up to 120s, SPY up to almost 600s, and NASDAQ up to almost 21s. So stuff's going good. Bitcoin probably flying too, right? Yeah, Bitcoin up to almost 105,000. So, yep, deal is done. And regardless of what you think about the president, like, people like the president, dislike the president, regardless of any of that, this is obviously optimistic for markets, Markets are flying too. We got a fake pawn. Usually I could find them and ban them, but I'll have to go look. They join pretty regularly, but it's alright. I mean, the last time they agreed to a pause, so we had the tariff pause announcement, like what was that, like 6 weeks ago? 6 weeks ago, they agreed to a tariff pause, and the market had one of the strongest rebounds it's seen this year. Went back like 10%, market went up 10% or something like that, and so, yeah, market's up huge now. And in terms of where we were, I mean, honestly, looking at where we are now, right? If we take a look at the SPY here, or the NASDAQ even, let's take a look at the NASDAQ. If we put up a yearly chart, I mean, we're basically right back to where we were. Like, here is where we were. Here's the all-time highs prior. We are right here, so, like, we're basically back up. Like, yes, we have this difference here. but that's where we were. You know, we're basically back up to where we were in December. So December is here. You know, we're basically where we were in December. Maybe not quite, maybe a little bit underneath it, but not much. And again, guys, I'm going to say it again. I don't really root for any politician. I'm very neutral politically. But this is obviously good for markets, and the markets are up, you know. You know, you don't ever want to be that guy that, like, only says negative things, never, you know. Either side, it doesn't matter to me, but this is good for markets. You know. Sin already said there's a mechanism in place to avoid upward tariff pressure. Might just be a pause, but tariffs aren't going back to 100%. Yeah, I mean, I tend to think, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, something that I've been really overwhelmingly outspoken about over the last few weeks is that the U.S. and China need each other. This is something you've heard me say. I've said this over and over and over again, to be honest. The U.S. and China need each other. You can't just hear all this negative stuff floating around and just kind of believe it without checking into things. You have to think about it objectively in terms of the China absolutely needs the United States. They need the U.S. That's just the truth, right? China needs the United States. We are their single largest buyer of manufactured goods in the world. And so they want to get a deal done. And this is something I've said over and over and over again. They want to get a deal done. This is very self-evident. It's very obvious. U.S. and China both want to get a deal done. You know, of course, one of them is going to play hard. Both of them might play hard and be like, oh, we don't need the other one. They both need each other. And so in turn, I tend to think a deal is going to get done. And this is what I've said over and over again. And with that said, I think when a deal does get done, markets are going to fly, right? And, you know, markets are up huge this morning. Not a shock. I mean, I'm not going to say I told you so, but, you know, hey. I'm selling the longs. I don't know. We'll see if it holds. I don't even know if it's going to hold. It might not hold. We'll see. We got CPI inflation data this week. And so if we get a hot CPI print this week, we might get bumped all the way back down. You never know. CPI is tomorrow morning, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. This morning, we don't really have much going on. I don't think we have much going on this morning. Let me check. Yeah, no, this morning we don't have anything. We got some bond auction news, WASD report. That's basically it. Tomorrow's the big day. We got CPI inflation data tomorrow. Wednesday, we got 30-year mortgage rates. Thursday, we got PPI inflation and retail sales. Philly Fed index. Friday, we got... Okay, so Wednesday... Thursday, we got a whole gang of stuff, dude. Thursday, we got Powell. We've got PPI inflation data. We got retail sales data. We got Philly Fed index. We got jobless claims. Sheesh, bro. On freaking Wednesday, dude. Or Thursday, we got a whole bunch of stuff, man. Friday, we got Michigan consumer sentiment data and Atlanta Fed GDP now. Weird. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, Fern, I think you're making it too political, brother. I really do. I think you're making it too political. You know, yeah, I think people just make this too. I think people want the market to be in turmoil. You know, I think people want the market to be in turmoil. I think people root deeply against politicians on either side. And in the end, I just want to see the market go up. I don't care about any of that stuff. I really don't. I just want to see the market go up. I tell people this all the time. I'm very neutral politically because I go by policy. And I told people I thought a deal would get done eventually. And I told people that I thought the market would fly when it did. It's just kind of a predictable thing in markets. You know, you got to think about logic versus emotion. You know, like U.S. and China need each other. You know, China's the single largest buyer of our single largest producer and manufacturer of our goods. We are the single largest buyer of their manufactured goods. And so logic states we need each other. They're not going to, you know. Yeah. But I think people get like so attached to different theses that they just kind of end up going out left field and believing all this different stuff. And I think you got to look at logic sometimes and just say, hey, they need each other. This is probably going to happen. And then use that to base your trades around, or your investments, I should say. No, it's not a deal. It's a 90-day pause. But this is what I'm looking at. But they basically said the intention is to pause tariffs for 90 days. And during that 90-day window, get a deal done within that window, is basically what they said. You know. And it's all good. Since I'm not political here. I'm really not. It's all good if you're political. I understand. I tend to be optimistic for markets is what I am, you know. Not really rooting for either side. I'm just kind of optimistic about markets. First move isn't always the right move. Yeah. And but that's usually talking about economic data. Something like this. I mean, we could absolutely reverse. You never know. Anything could happen. But this is more of a, like, you got to think about the last time we announced a pause to the tariffs, right? The last time we announced a pause, it didn't include China. And so the pause that we did last time included all the other countries, excluding China. And even still, the market flew up. Market ripped up, went up big, you know. And so now that this pause includes China, obviously the market's going up, you know. Maybe it reverses. How much? Wait, on a percentage basis, what is the market up today? Let's see. Or let's just call it the weekend. On a percentage basis, how much is the market up this weekend? So we opened up. Yeah. So we closed Friday at about 20,140. 20,140. So that's basically from 20 to 21%. Yeah, so we are up from 20 to 21, which is what, 5%? Yeah, 5%. So we're up 5% this morning. Math. We're up 5%. So we could all, but at the same time, we've already kind of rebounded all the way back up too. So I think if we were way down here, it would be different. It would be a different move. It'd probably be a little bit larger, I think. And again, we'll see if we get a deal done. That's a good question for the poll today. Does the U.S. and China get a deal done before the 90-day pause expires? Yes or no? There's the poll. Vote on it. Let me know how you feel. I feel better today, guys. I'm not sick anymore. I feel better. That's what it is. Who's short? So I ended up buying back into the market. So basically what happened, so the last 90-day pause that was announced, where was this? I ended up buying back in, and I bought Tesla, I bought AMD, I can't remember, I'll have to go check my position list, but I bought like Tesla, AMD, I bought some microchips, I bought Microsoft, I bought Amazon, and I bought a couple other stocks here. Let me show you. So we had the last 90-day pause announcement here, and then the very next day the market dipped down here. I bought about right here. So I bought back in the market about right there. At about 18.5s in the NASDAQ is where it was when I bought back in. 18.5s. I told everybody when I did it. Yeah, happy Mom's Day to all the moms. Looking at our poll just to get the initial kind of projections of what people are thinking. 70% of people think yes, they get a deal done. 30% of people think no, they do not get a deal done. Yeah, the 10-year yield, let's take a look. 10-year treasury is flying up today, not down, meaning a higher interest rate sentiment, and especially mortgages right now. Look at the 10-year. 10-year is up this morning, guys. Look at the 10-year. Wow. 10-year's popping this morning. Up to almost 4.5%. You know, again, you can kind of see where we, just to show you guys where we were here. Hold on. So this is where we were to close the weekend here. We are now up here. So the 10-year has jumped to almost 4.5%. What does that mean when the 10-year jumps? Well, it means a lot of different things. It typically means higher interest rate sentiment. It means people are flocking to bonds a little bit more. Or no, it means people are selling bonds a little bit more, probably because of the strength in markets. And so the yields are going up. It means higher interest rate sentiment. Yields and interest rates tend to follow each other. So if yields go up, interest rate sentiment is higher, especially if mortgages. If yields are down, interest rate sentiment is lower. And so yields going up. Interesting move today. Correct, yes. So it means, so the easiest way to put it, Sam, that's why I corrected myself. So yields going up means bond prices are going down, which means people are selling them. Like you have to think, so yields and bond prices inverse each other. So if yields go up, the price of the bonds goes down, and vice versa. If yields go down, the price of the bonds go up. And so with yields going up, that means the price of the bonds are going down, which means people are selling them. Which is probably because the stock market is up a lot. You know, so like if the stock market, if people are gravitating towards the stock market more than bonds, they might sell bonds, and that might cause yields to spike, and because the underlying bond prices are going down because people are unloading their bonds to go back into the stock market to buy back into the stock market or whatever it is. And so, yeah. Yeah, 10-year rising means yields and prices. Investors are selling treasuries. Mortgage rates, corporate loans, other financing benchmarks are going to be higher. And interest rates, inflation, and Fed expectations are there. A rising yield often reflects market pricing and stronger growth or higher inflation. You know, and that makes sense because the Federal Reserve, I think, was hawkish last week. Higher yields increase the discount rate used to value future corporate earnings, can which weigh on stock prices. So there's a lot of nuance behind it. It means they think the economy is going to be stronger, and that's probably, I probably shouldn't have even said the stock market. I probably should have said the economy. So a rise in yields reflects a stronger economy sentiment, which makes a lot of sense this morning because we got a 90-day pause to the tariffs. So that's a strong signal in the economy, and bond yields are showing it. Do you guys not remember me telling you guys I bought back in? I didn't buy back in large, just to clarify. Like, I bought a small position back in after this big pump and then this pullback, you know. I didn't buy back in huge, you know. And I am glad I sold in December. Both of those things can be true. But I don't know what CPI is going to be tomorrow. I really don't. All right, guys. So yeah, CPI meeting tomorrow. That's big. It's not the meeting, but a CPI report drops at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. CPI tomorrow is expected at CPI tomorrow is expected at 0.3% month over month and 2.4% on the year. Very interesting. Bitcoin always dumps before. Yeah, maybe. I think Bitcoin and inflation have a lot of correlations there. Hey, we got almost 700 here at like 7:30 in the morning. Shout out to you guys, man. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Like, aside from that one guy that seems to kind of create a bunch of fake accounts and like at 6 a.m. kind of trolls and tries to be negative, most people in this are very positive, very good, like, community. Like, we got a good community here, and I appreciate you guys showing up early for me in the morning. So thanks so much, chat. I appreciate you guys. Fed doing QE, but on silent. They bought 20 billion over the weekend. Repo market again. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Pedro? Market seems to be really hot today. Yeah, for sure. What's up, Jamie? Go Tigers. Yes, sir. Oh, not taking any shorts today. I mean, I'll shorts whatever. It depends on what the market gives me today. Like, if I can find some good stuff, like, I'll take some trades. You know. Yeah, thank you, Somber. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, sir. What's up, Ryan? So we did a breakdown on our x.com page, to be honest, of all the stuff going on. We did a breakdown. So basically this is what it is. On the U.S. and China officials agreed to a 90-day pause in escalating tariffs, halting any new tariff increases while they pursue broader negotiations. This was announced over the weekend, or this was announced early this morning. The tariff rate cuts are massive and reciprocal, so the U.S. will slash its top duties on Chinese imports from 145% to 30%, and China will reduce its tariffs on American goods from 125 to 10%, a 115-point cut on each side. The agreement cancels 91% of current tariff lines and suspends another 24% for the duration of the truce. A separate 20% U.S. tariff tied to the alleged role in the drug crisis remains in place, though exempt from the pause. So there is a 20% tariff that remains exempt. Negotiations also tackled non-tariff barriers, including Chinese export controls of critical minerals. Markets cheered, S&P up, NASDAQ up. Both sides emphasized that this is a provisional step designed to build confidence and avoid economic decoupling with the goal of reaching a more comprehensive long-term agreement before the pause expires. So that's what's going on. That is a breakdown. And we covered it on our X page. If you want to give me a follow on x.com, it's at Beginner Trades, at Beginner Trades. We break all this stuff down. Honestly, we gave you guys a breakdown of the Geneva, Switzerland meet on Friday prior to this news coming out. If you look on our x.com page, on Friday, we gave a full bullet point breakdown on this. So cough, cough. Give your boy a follow on x.com at Beginner Trades. We appreciate it. Do you know why Netflix is falling off a cliff? Is it really? I know Nvidia's up to 122s. Netflix at 1130s. 1130s. Sorry, I'm looking up the Netflix news. Netflix just kind of turned. I don't know what this is. Let's see if there's a justification for it. Warren Buffett expresses disappointment over the dollar depreciation. Peter Schiff takes on some stuff. Tim Cook's Apple TV Plus cameo rejected by Seth Rogen. Ops for Netflix. Ted Sarandos instead. We said no. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any big news from Netflix that's driving this. It's not really a big liquidity drop either. It's pretty small. All right, so we got a couple Bassett news reports coming out early this morning. So White House Press Secretary Leavitt says unfreezing rare earth was part of the U.S.-China discussions. U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent says he will discuss labor and capital with China in further talks via MSNBC interview. He also said that they want China to rebalance its economy towards more consumption in the same MSNBC interview. Yeah, I feel better. The UK and EU are still trying to resolve differences on fish and SPF days before next week's summit in London, according to Bloomberg. Dude, nobody told you to buy Tesla at 250, Bow. Get out of here, bro. I don't tell anybody to buy anything, brother. I really don't. You know. I'm going to start banning people if they try to make up stuff just to, you know. I really will start banning people if y'all start making stuff up, dude. Yeah, dude, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better. I don't think I did. Tesla's green from 250, just to clarify. But I don't think I told you to buy it. You know. I'm just now realizing this is a positive comment, but still. But still. I honestly, Tesla up to 320s this morning. It's all good, Bow. I appreciate you. I really didn't tell you to buy, though. You know. Again, I'm being honest. I told people to buy Dollar General. I told people not to buy Dollar General. I don't know. I don't know what you should buy, what you should not buy. Don't copy me. I'm not an investment professional. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. Might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. Yeah, we're all here to win. That's right. Okay. You told me to buy Circuit City, bro. Lost it all. Yeah, dude. Honestly, Circuit City, dude, used to be really hyped in the 90s. Like, I used to always want to go to Circuit City, but it was too expensive, so my parents never brought me there. Oh, man, my disclaimer, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I got rid of it. Sorry. I told people they start making stuff up, I'm going to start banning them, you know. Like the SPY at 480s. SPY hasn't hit 480s in like, I don't know how long, in like a month and a half. And it even still, it didn't even hit 480s. It got down to 482s. And I'm pretty sure I told people the opposite. I'm pretty sure what I said when the SPY was down there is that if you start DCAing right now, you're going to make money long term. You know, I'm pretty big believer in like dollar cost averaging long term. You know, John told me to buy a bottle of water. Top 3 bottled water users. And honestly, my family doesn't even drink bottled water, believe it or not, which is a really hard thing to do. You know, like we have a water filter, but we don't drink bottled water anymore. Carol's not a big believer in plastic. Anyways, let's see what Nvidia's doing. I'm going to start to day trade this morning. Toys R Us too, bro. I never got to go to Toys R Us, bro. I really did. I always wanted to go because the Toys R Us commercials, they did their jobs in the 90s, you know. Every kid wanted to go to Toys R Us. Problem is that, like, I remember the couple times I went to Toys R Us, my dad was just not having it. I'd find a toy. I'd be like, hey, Dad, I want this toy. My dad would be like, no, too expensive. You can never buy this toy. You know, I don't even remember what the toy was, but never could I get the toy I wanted. We go to Walmart instead. Yeah, I remember the Sears catalog. I'd circled the toys I wanted. You know, I remember that. All right, guys, so we're going to start to day trade a little bit. Let's try. Yeah, again, big news this morning. U.S.-China trade deal was announced. Bond yields are spiking up this morning. Again, let's talk about it. Bond yields up big this morning at 4.41% this morning, 4.41%. So the 10-year is up, which means that bond prices are going down. Investors are selling treasuries. Mortgage rates, corporate loans, and other financing benchmarks are off, maybe higher. Now with higher bond yields, this means the Fed is expecting more inflation problems potentially in a stronger economy. A rising yield reflects markets pricing in stronger growth, higher inflation, and bond yields are up to almost 4.5% this morning. So people are starting to think about, bond yields a lot more, I think, in their discussions about the economy and markets with stock market. I'm seeing a lot of people reference. I've been watching bond yields for a while. I usually watch TNX, top 3 greatest bond yield watcher in the world right now. But I usually look at TNX. Hasn't opened up yet, but this is going to bounce. You can see where it closed on Friday at about 4.37. It's jumping up to about 4.45%. 4.45%. Yeah. And again, 90-day pause, China tariffs. They're reciprocal, so U.S. is going to slash levies on Chinese imports from 145 to 30%. China will reduce its tariffs on American goods from 125 to 10%. That's why the market's jumping up about 5% this morning. It cancels the 91% of current tariff lines and suspends another 24% of the duration of the truce. So that's good. That's good. All right, chat. Yeah, look, watch pawn. I'll send you. Look at this. Yeah, I have to go back and keep looking, but no. Look, I'll unhide him anyway, but still. John's going bald. Am I really, bro? How dare you, dude? That hurts, bro. Am I really going bald, though, man? I don't think so. I got too much hair, honestly. I'm just glad I have hair, but I think I got too much hair. Every time I go get a haircut, they're like, bro, you got too much hair. That's what they tell me. You know, when I would say the top 3 greatest things of hair in the world right now, I would be the top, I would think. You know. Definitely baldest people ever. I don't even want to speak that into the world right now, bro. I'm in my 30s, dude. That's a fear. You know, top 3 biggest fears of mine in the world right now. All right, NASDAQ coming down a little bit. Let's see if we can trade. All right, I'm going to trade some here, guys. Let me put some windows up here. We'll trade. Honestly, last week was a pretty good week. Let's see if we can find some stuff to trade. Hold on. Yeah, Pawn's telling me the gift guy's comments might have been supportive. And I can't really tell, you know. To be honest, both of them are wrong. Like, I told people I was buying back in. Again, I remember exactly when it was. And when it was right when, hold on. It was right when he announced the previous 90-day pause that excluded China. And we ripped up like 10% very quickly. And then the following day, we pulled back another like 2 or 3%, giving me kind of like a dip buy opportunity. That's where I bought back in. I bought AMD, Amazon, I think, Microsoft. I bought like 5 stocks at that point in time. It wasn't a huge position, but I did buy back into stuff. And it might have been Tesla. I might have bought Tesla, to be honest, right there. At the same time, though, I'm not really telling people to buy anything, you know, and like I would rather make my moves in silent and tell people I have no idea what I'm talking about versus putting what I do out there publicly. You know, I could be the top 3 greatest caller of all time ever, but, you know, I'd rather be private about it, I think. Just because it's the same reason, like, I live in a very nice house. I'm not even bragging, but, like, my house is nice. If I wanted to flex this house and act like I made this money purely day trading, I could very easily, and it would give the wrong impression. And I would rather just have privacy, you know what I mean? And so I don't want to be another day trading guru out here trying to brag about all the stuff I have. Top 3 braggiest person ever, but still, you know, I'd rather just not be that way and just kind of make it more laid back and easy going. Anyways, NASDAQ is up here at almost 21,000. We got AMD up there at almost 110s. Google back up to almost 160s. Although that did pull back a little bit last week. We got Apple all the way up to 210s here, which is a good sign too. We got that 200 exponential. I got to draw some new levels on this chart. I brag, but it's usually sarcastic bragging, to be honest. Like, it's usually ironic in nature, you know. All right, let's look at some levels this morning. I mean, obviously, we got 21K. 21K is like the level this morning. It's right there. Right here, 21's biggest level on the chart right now, I think. We also have 800s right here. We've bounced off of that level a few times, in my opinion, so I think we got to watch 800s. We can watch 850s here as well. I think, yeah, here's 850. I guess we kind of do have to watch 850 right here because it's the top of this. And then we have this isolated level here at like 25 or so. So we'll look at that as well. Here's 75. 75 looks good too, honestly. We'll watch that. Here we go. All right, there's my levels. We also have 15 right here. That could be one too. Like, look at 15. I'll draw one here at 15 just to be safe. Sam, I was personally offended by that comment, bro. Come on now, dude. It hurts, man. It hurts right here. You know? I feel bad, man. I mean, I got the most hair of everybody in the world right now, but still. It hurts, man. All right. SPY almost up to 600s. We'll see if it holds. Bond yields up this morning. Haven't opened up here yet, though, so we're just going to put two little charts up. NVIDIA, guys, really optimistic look. NVIDIA up to 120s. 122s almost. So, what's the news on NVIDIA's pumping? It's not NVIDIA, it's the market pumping up this morning, brother. So early this morning, about 3 hours ago, really is what it was. 3 hours ago, officials announced a 90-day pause to U.S.-China tariffs on both sides. 90-day pause, U.S.-China tariffs. They're going to get a deal done in that period of time, they say. Don't know if they will, but that's what they say. They're going to get a deal done within that moment of time. And markets like it. Markets are up 5% plus this morning. You know, it's optimistic for things. I did a poll this morning, and 75% of people think, yes, they will get a deal done before the 90-day pause expires. So people are optimistic that a U.S.-China deal is going to get done. You know, that's where we're at. I know you were joking, Sam. It's all good, dude. If I don't troll you, what am I doing in life? Yeah, market's up about 5%. We're up from about 20 to 21 this morning. Maybe a little bit less than 5%. Maybe it's 4%, but still, we're up a decent amount. Honestly, my hairline's pretty good. You know, if we're talking about my hairline. My hairline's pretty good for a 30-something-year-old. I'm not saying it's never receded ever. You know, but I think once you hit like 25, it starts to push back a little bit, you know. But, you know, it's called the hairline maturing. For most people, it pushes back and then it stops. But some people, it keeps going. Mine stopped a long time ago. My hairline hasn't pulled back at all. So I'm lucky, I guess. But, well, what it is, there was initially the 90-day pause. I don't know what any of that stuff is, Bao, and I'm just gonna respectfully not say it, you know, because I don't know what that means. Motorbike? I mean, I know what a motorbike is. Is that like a different way to say dirt bike? Motorbike? All right, guys, so we're rejecting at 9.15s here. 9.15s. Let's see if we can trade a little bit. I'll trade some here. If we get up to 9.25s, I'll look for a dip. Look at that pop. Still heading up here. Use hymns. Honestly, guys, if I was really genuinely going bald, which I'm not, but if I was, I would Propecia it up, dude. I'd be Roganing it up, dude. I would be, you know, top 3 biggest Propecia user in the world, for sure, without question, you know. So. All right, NASDAQ's getting some strength here. I'm trying to make sure Besant's not speaking right now. So we had, okay, so Treasury Secretary Besant said about 10 minutes ago, he said, over the next 90 days, we will see, but it has to be fair for the American people, according to Bloomberg. All right, so look at this bounce back up. We're at 930s right now. 930s. All right, so we're trying to move back up. We're at 925s. So we bounce right here. If we pull back to 915s, I'll buy it, but I need a larger pullback here before we buy it. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I can see it's cut off here. Let me fix that. There we go. We also have Jerome Powell speaking on Thursday this week, guys. So Jerome Powell is supposed to speak on Thursday. For a framework review. Oh. All right, guys. What's up, Chef? Yeah, we're almost up to 21,000. 21,000's right here. We're not quite there yet. We're at 20.92s, but close enough. And I tend to think the market wants 21K today, especially with all the good news that came out. I think the market, I'm bullish today, of course. I'd look to buy pullbacks and dips, but I'm not telling you to do anything. That's just kind of what I'm thinking about. Yeah, I know my green screen's not on. I'm intentionally not leaving it on. We're kind of going back and forth between it. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, they say it comes from your mother's father, but my mom's dad was bald at 25, and I have my dad's hair. So it's not a perfect science, you realize. Like, I very clearly have my dad's hair. And my dad's over 70, still has hair, you know. And like still has almost all of his hair. It's not bald at all. It's not really losing hair, you know. So my dad over 70 still has hair. My mom's dad bald at 25, right? And so it's not a perfect science. I used to panic because I thought it was coming. All right, so we're gonna try to buy this dip here, chat. We'll start to load into one micro contract here and maybe get a couple down to 915s. So we're going to add a little bit more down here. We'll take up to 3 contracts here, I think. About 3. So we have 2. These are micro, small contracts, so. And then we'll take 3 right here, and then that'll be it. Not going to take any more larger than this. We did bounce a little bit off of it right there just now. Let's see if we pop back up. See, I got to wait for the levels to hit exactly, because, like, look, here's the level we were trying to buy it off of right there. There we go. All right, we're going to take 2 off here, protect it. I think I got a bad fill, though, on this, man. Oh, well. We'll let it roll now. We can maybe add to it in the green, but... The levels I use work, though. We bounced directly off of that 915 level. If I would have waited for it exactly, it would have been a much better trade. We could add back now, though, when it retests here. Alright, so we got 2 contracts now. We're flat. Anybody watching The Last of Us? We watched the 4th episode yesterday. Alright, we're still about flat right here. I could add one more, but I'm not gonna risk it, I think. Yeah, we're just gonna have to cut it. So we're down like 20 bucks or something very small. Yeah, could be worse. We could buy it back up if it gets back over there too. But I'm gonna wait. Yeah, Last of Us was great. Good show. Game is better than the show. Yeah. I never played the game, to be honest. I really didn't. I just liked the show. So honestly, I don't know what's gonna happen. Which is probably the best way to watch it, I would assume. Yeah, I like the dip buy, but it's just not really... Like, I could maybe get stubborn with it and buy one more, but... Just trying a little bit too hard here. Yeah, there's the rebound back up. We'll just see if we can get back over 915s. Bitcoin's been going up. I mean, it's not going to go straight up, though. You can't expect it to go straight up. You know? Like, it's at 104s right now. Yeah, see, there's the... Do I want to get stubborn and buy 915 again? I could. I think it's probably a good little dip, but I want to get into a position, and that's what I'm trying to do here. If it looks like I'm just kind of being spazzy with my entries, I'm trying to get into a position that I can add to once I have enough green. And so there we go. We'll take this now. But if we lose 30, 40, 50 bucks, it's not the end of the world. Like, we can try to make it back after the opening bell. We got 3 different funded accounts here, and my pre-market trades have been pretty good. Like last week, we made a bunch of money in pre-market. There we go. There we go. If it could just hold, honestly, it spikes and then it comes right back down. Is kind of the issue. See, look at that. It spiked up. I almost took profit too, but. See if we can bounce at 915 again. Now we're completely flat on the trade. There we go. My entry seems to be holding as resistance almost here. All I know is every time it spikes, it gets dumped down quickly here. So, could be trying to fake me out, yeah. It's just not quite getting up there enough for me to take profit, although it's getting close. I just don't like this rejection. I'm worried if it falls, it's going to fall quick. But I'd like 925s. There we go. That's better. See, it just doesn't stay up there long enough, dude. Yeah, see, there it goes. Like, it gets up to it. Like, this is a reasonable spot to take profit. It just never stayed long enough. It kind of rejected and went right back up. There we go. That's better. I'm going to add to this. See if we can go back up. That's nice. We'll take half off there. Finally getting some good profit on the trade, but it took a while. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trading very small this morning, chat. I'm waiting for some more edge to play with stuff this morning than this. There we go. There's 925s. It's looking better up there. There we go. All right, we're going to just go ahead and cut that. So we ended up making money on that last trade, which is finally, you know, we're still down a little bit, but not much. We're basically flat on the day, so that's good. Yeah, today's trend's green. That's why, like, I'm bullish today because of that. I would have made money on the first trade too. It just kind of came down here and stopped me out. I wanted to use this level. It's an easy risk, but it's all good. But yeah, the trend is definitely on the upside. I think the market wants this level up here is what I personally think. And I might be wildly wrong, not an investment professional. Don't copy me. But I think the market, not this level. This isn't the level. I think the market wants this level up here, 21K. I think this is the level right here that the market wants, is 21,000. And so I tend to think that the momentum is going to kind of push us up towards that level leading into the opening bell. Maybe not. You never freaking know. Anything can happen. Market might go the completely other way. But 21,000, big milestone level. We opened up pretty close to it this morning. And as I say that, look at the market jump. So market's starting to creep back up towards it. We had big catalysts on the upside. It just makes me think the market's going to start testing that level eventually today. We'll see, though. We got time. Again, guys, give me a follow on x.com. We got a full breakdown of everything going on right now. So here's like a full breakdown of the U.S.-China pause. We basically break down everything going on there. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. If you want to check out Top Step, again, Top Step's an affiliate of mine. I'm biased in their favor, but genuinely useful for traders. Top Step, learning to day trade through Top Step makes sense, right? Most day traders lose. If you put up your own money, you're probably going to have to risk 5, 10, 20, 30 grand to day trade actively and get around the PDT rule. It makes no sense. And most day traders lose their first couple accounts in the beginning. So, like, you're probably going to lose those thousands and thousands of dollars if you put the money up yourself. Instead, you can limit your risk, learn how to trade in a structured environment through Top Step. Top Step gives you a 50K demo. The base one's $50 a month, basically. If you can make 3K in profit without losing 2K on that demo, following their rules, you got to make 3K without losing 2K first on the base one. If you can do that, they fund you 50K, 90% split. Prior to that split kicking in, you get to keep your first 10K in profit. You know, so very similar split to funding your own account. You know, 90%, you get to keep your first 10K. Very similar to funding your own account. If you fail, $50 subscription a month. $50 a month subscription. It's not the end of the world if you lose that. Perfect way to learn as a new trader. You still have some risk. You're still risking something. If you're a good enough trader, you can then withdraw and fund your own account with the profits. But if you fail, it's not the end of the world. And Top Step is one of the most legit in the world. They've paid out hundreds of millions of dollars. They fund thousands of traders. And in the futures market, it's very similar to day trading stocks. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. If you want to check it out, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. I'll pin it to the top of the page. Understand all this stuff on screen. I'm not an investment professional, not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment. Trade responsibly, guys. I can't guarantee anything. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Might be wildly wrong. Like, I don't even claim to be a good trader here. That's not really what we're about. My channel's called Beginner Trading. You know, like we're just trying to help new traders, and you know, I think this is incredibly useful for new traders, as well as, like, we don't claim to be good. Sometimes we trade and lose off stream. None of that matters really. because my job is to help new traders and teach people about economics. I think most people probably tune into these streams to learn about economics and Fed decisions and inflation data and like what all of it means. I think that's probably the main reason people tune in. I think some of them watch me trade. I think, you know, a lot of them want me to cover the economic reports of the day. But I think one of the big reasons people tune in to learn. If that's you, let me know in chat, because I think that's probably a large percentage of you guys. What do you think CPI shows up as tomorrow? I really don't know. Yeah, I really have no idea. You're just a cool dude, John. Oh, thank you, sir. Let me see. I mean, this is how my hair looks when I wake up in the morning, guys. Gold down 3.5%. Yeah, that's because there's more optimism in the economy. CPI, let's look at trueflation. People talking about CPI tomorrow. CPI inflation is huge. It's one of the biggest economic reports of the month. Let's find it. Yeah, I mean, trueflation's showing 1.53% versus a month ago. Let me find indices. Inflation. I'm trying to see, do they even do PC or CPI inflation for trueflation? I don't see it. I see UK, India, eggs, England CPI, producer price, 2.4% is what they're thinking. Yeah, so the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they're thinking 2.4%, 2.3. 9% tomorrow. Is that what they're expecting tomorrow? They're expecting for economic report CPI 2.4%. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think it's going to show up as expected. So I tend to think it's going to be as well, maybe 2.4%. That's what I'm going with. I mean, there's not really any time limit, Jack. It just varies. There's not really any time limit, though. I mean, it's a monthly subscription, but I think it's useful. A lot of good stuff comes into it. I'm looking to buy a dip. If we can get a dip down to like 9.25, I'm looking to buy back in. We'll see if we get it. Yeah, let's take a look at the rate cut odds, man. I know, like, last week we had the Fed meeting, and that made a lot of people start to be interested in what is going to happen for rates. So at this point in time for June, it's only looking like about an 11% chance of a cut in June, about 11% chance. About a 90% chance of a pause, or 89% chance of a pause, about 11% chance of a cut in June. If we take a look at July, this pivots to, whoa, okay guys, so now it's even more probable. The only thing I can think of, okay, so now it's not even looking like we're going to cut in July. So this has changed over the weekend. My guess, and I think most economists' guess, is going to be this changed because people are more optimistic regarding the labor market now with the tariff pause going on. And so with more optimism regarding the labor market, there's less of a need to cut rates, more of a need to keep rates the same, more of a need to focus on combating inflation, and low rates can make inflation worse, not better. QE can make inflation worse, not better. And so I think that is something that is influencing this. Now it's actually a greater likelihood that we're not going to cut in July. Now it's looking like it's August. Or no, now it's looking like September. We got a 50% chance of a cut by September. Or no, we got greater than that. We got 50, 60, 70, 80, 83% chance of a cut in December. So we'll see what happens. But it's not, now it's not even looking like it's going to be July. It's looking like it's going to be September. Yeah, towards the end of this year for cuts. This only shows that the market actually didn't need a rate cut. Well, I mean, the 90-day pause in tariffs is good news, of course. And with the economy slowing down and GDP showing up negative, I'm really curious to see what the GDP report's going to show up as this week. Or, not this week. I'm sorry. Next, what is the GDP report? Let me take a look at this. Hold on. All right, so we got a whole gang of stuff on Thursday this week, man. Next week is so slow. Why? I don't know why next week is so slow. Alright, so we got a pullback. I'd like a larger pullback to buy into it, but I tend to think the market's going to run up today on this 90-day pause news. I might be wrong. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional, but I tend to think the market's going to run into all the stuff going on this week, you know. Yeah, look at Apple rip, Nvidia. Is there something driving this big rebound here? Let me see. We got Apple. Google's up. Netflix is still down. Meta's up big. Meta's up to 630s. Microsoft's up. I wanted to buy the dip. I just didn't really get an entry for it. Nvidia earnings is at the end of this month, so it's not this week. It is. Earnings season's mostly over. Like, we got a couple little, like, earnings thrown in there, but earnings season is mostly over. We got, like, a couple small stuff this morning, but nothing big. I think the only thing we got this week, we got, like big one is JD.com. We got, like, Plug Power. We got Rigetti Computing, which is, like, a quantum stock. We got Gevo. Yeah, it's not really a big one though. We got Sony, and then I think we have like Cisco. Yeah, Cisco on Wednesday. All right, so we were starting to push up a little bit. Let's see what happens at 966 here. All right, guys, almost there. Yeah, but when you look at Truflation, you want to look at the BLS data. So like you could look at Truflation, it shows 1.57%. The BLS, which is the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is who drops the CPI report. So if you look at Truflation, you want to look at this specific number here, which is the BLS Consumer Price Index. You know, it is showing 2.4% as of May 12th, which is today, right? So this is showing 2.4%. You know, you can look at these other numbers and see Truflation, 1.57, eggs, 584 a dozen, you know, PPI for Thursday, PCE for whatever that drops, not next week, but the week after that. But yeah. Yeah, we got about 900 here already, and you know, it's not even 8:30 yet, so we appreciate you guys. We don't really have any 8:30 economic reports this morning either. So we don't really have any big economic reports for this morning. Is there an announcement at 9 a.m.? Is it really? Okay. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. We appreciate the love. Thanks so much. So again, if you're just now tuning into the markets and you haven't been paying attention this morning, there's a 90-day trade pause announcement today with China and the U.S. U.S. and Chinese officials agreed to a 90-day pause, halting any new tariff increases while they pursue broader negotiations. They think they're going to get another deal done, a finalized deal done in the next 90 days while the pauses are here. The tariff rate cuts are massive and reciprocal. The U.S. is going to drop its big duties on imports for China from 145% to 30%, and China will reduce its tariffs on American goods from 125 to 10%, which is a 115-point cut on each side. It cancels out the 91% current tariff lines and suspends another 24% for the duration of the truce. Negotiations includes Chinese export controls on critical materials, enhanced cooperation. Markets are liking this, of course. Nasdaq is up almost 5% this morning. Hit 5% basically earlier today, but yeah, a big. Again, I told you guys way back here I thought the market was going to head up. I think the market wants 21K. I think I said that around right here, and the market has climbed up. I haven't really gotten an entry though, but I have been bullish this morning, so that's good, I guess. But yeah, markets are up a lot, man. Bitcoin down a little bit today though. Palantir is at 120s. AMD's over 100 still at 109s. We got Google at 160s. Meta's up to like 630s right now. So Meta's up really big. Microsoft's up big too. All right, so we're tapping this level here. I could short. I don't think I want to short the opposite of this trend though. Yeah. All right, so look at that rejection right at that 966 level, exactly at that 966 spot. Literally tapped 966. Coming right back down. I could have shorted it, but it's all right. My hood calls from a month ago are printing. Yeah, Robinhood announced like some type of like signal center or something like that, right? Speaking of that, let me open up my trading view. Whew, dude, I look at my signals, bro. Like my trading view signals. I gotta start using these more. Why does the timer? I wish the timer would stay like 1. Chicago. They're pretty solid though. 5 minutes. Pretty good. Pretty good. No ambient music. I mean, what is? Can y'all hear the music? I can turn it up a little bit. Let me turn it up. I think it's probably a little low, huh? Is that better? Let me know if you can hear it now. You should be able to hear it. Meta's ripping up too. Microsoft's up there as well. All right, guys. So again, today is the day. We got a big 90-day pause. Markets are up big. We got volume in the markets, which is what I'm excited about. Volume in markets. Yeah, let me know if that's better. Sound is good. All right, cool. John, for this to take off, what has to happen? What do you mean? For what, the market to take off? I mean, the market is already up over 4% this morning. You know, this is already really good news. So the market has already kind of taken off already. NASDAQ is up to almost 21,000 for the NASDAQ. So we're already up very big today, very big. Yeah, if we get a dip down to like 925s, I might think about buying it. We also have 950, but we're falling down under 950s. So I will buy some stuff if we get a pullback here, but we need a big one, and you know, I gotta wait for a good entry and be okay with missing it. I think like my first trade I got into this morning, we bounced exactly off of 915s. I just got in a little bit early, and then that caused me to have a smaller risk. So I'm gonna look for 925s here. What two charts do you want on the, like, look, we got gold up here, which gold again pulling back a little bit. We got like 10-year treasury yields gapping up today. Look at the gap up in 10 years, up to 4.45%. Crazy gap up, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people are going to get rugged. The 90-day pause is obviously good and optimistic, right? Like, I think people are so reliant on negative, bearish stuff, but this is good news. I don't know if it's going to hold. I have no idea, you know. And I tend to think we're going to get higher. If we can get down to 935, I'll buy a little bit. But plan is to add up to maybe 4. Got to get Fed cuts now? I don't think so. I think it's even looking... It's looking even less likely that we're going to get cuts. Why? Because the economy's in a stronger place with the 90-day pause in China tariffs. That serves less of a need to cut rates, more potential inflation problems with the stronger labor market. All right, so we're going to jump in one contract here, just one, and we'll try to add another if we get a pullback. But if not, we'll go green, and we'll add to it if it's green as well. But very quick retracement all the way back up here. I'm going to add to this, I think, now. We're going to take half off because we can. And maybe add back on a dip. That's the plan. We got to wait for a large dip to add back, though. they'll still cut. Right now it's looking like September is where we're going to get a cut in rates, September. So it's looking like a long time before we cut. And it makes sense. Like, inflation's more of a priority now with the tariffs boosting the economy. 10-year yield is higher, you know. So it's looking more like September now that we're going to get a cut. So the end of this year, you know, in months and months now. This year is flying by, though. It really is. But yeah. Yeah, we're still net green on this position, too. But I'd like a little bit more here if we can get it. There we go. That's better now. Let's see if we can get one more. All right, there's one more. That's it. Sheesh, that's a big drop, though. Not what we wanted. I wonder if this is catalyst driven or not. Let me look. We're right around the 200 exponential, so I'll give it a second, but hands over the cover button. I'm going to limit my size here, I think, and just take half of the position off. That way I can be a little bit more loose on the rest. Try to make it back. The White House officially says, or a health official secretary will set clear targets for price reduction for drug prices within 30 days. If adequate progress is not made, most favored nation prices will be imposed. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's some economic news that kind of bumped this trade back down. It's possible. But honestly, we're only down like $60. So, like, we're still very small on the day. We still got 50 minutes until the opening bell as well. The only news that I'm seeing is the drug price news. Saudi Aramco said some stuff in their earnings call as well. But I don't see any other big news dropping. We might just be retracing to the 200 exponential here. And last week was a green week too. So if we lose 50, 60, $100 today, we'll be all right. We'll switch accounts if we lose too much on this one. Yeah, I'm looking to see if what you're saying is true, Ace. Let me see. I don't see anything, though. You might be right. I don't know. I'm trying to check financial juice here. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut this. Just a big breakdown. Although this is happening quick, so it might be some negative news that happened. Let me see if I can find anything. Drug prices. Yeah, we'll switch our account. I just don't want to, like, give too much back in any account that I'm on, so we'll be all right. What deal, Ace? Yeah, I don't see anything either. I see gold going up though, and nasdaq going down some, but we'll see why. All right, so Nissan is reportedly considering the closure of a plant within Japan, according to local press. We got some German finance minister speaking right now. UPS files for 4-point notes offering. Bayer is going to focus on production, they say. I see the drug. Polestar exec says level of debt so far is at 4.8 billion and debt situation is not satisfying. He said they're going to have a look for alternative sources of financing. Polestar is Volkswagen. Just to clarify, guys, it's like Volkswagen's EV company. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's what's going on. All right, look at this drop in the NASDAQ here. Big retest of the 200 exponential. AMD's ripping up, though. It's a big jump. Look at that. Wow. All right, so U.S. White House official says they expect GLP drugs to be in focus. So they're still talking about drugs this morning. It's kind of a volatile price action right now, though, to be honest. Bond yields are still rising, which is good. Yeah, I think people are going to collect their 7% overnight money. Yeah, I mean, maybe. We could go up. I mean, we are up a lot. We're up, I don't know if we're up 7%, but we're up. I thought it was closer to 5. But I think a lot of people probably bought into this news because a lot of people knew that in Geneva, that U.S. and China were going to speak about stuff this weekend. And so that kind of created some optimism regarding stuff over the weekend. And so a lot of people kind of front loaded into the Geneva meet this weekend. We covered it a lot on Friday. And maybe they take profit this morning. It's definitely possible too. But who knows, man. I'll have to wait and see what we get. We're very flat right now, though, right around this 200 EMA level here. So this 200 exponentials right there. We're kind of going up and down and up and down and up and down. Gold started to creep back up some. up 3 and almost 4% on the SPY and Q. Yeah. Yeah, I see some drug news stuff. I see AMD trying to creep up. But the NASDAQ just got really flat. Looked like it was going to break down on the 200 EMA and then just kind of went sideways. Put timer. I mean, we don't really have anything to time today. I don't think we have any big economic reports today. It's mostly just like the tariff battle of stuff going on. You know, kind of influencing stuff. Market looks like it wants to creep up though, but it's kind of going up and then down big and then up and then down big. So a lot of uncertainty right now regarding price action. And again, we've had Polestar news, Nissan news, some car price news. The White House official health secretary said that they're going to set clear targets for price reductions for U.S. drug prices. And so that's good, I guess. Tesla CEO Musk has been invited to the U.S. Investment Forum. So that's good. So we do have a long position that we're kind of riding up now. We got a big pop. But see if strength continues. Big upward move. See if we can hold up there now. Yeah, we're back to pretty flat on the day now, which is good in our other account. Took a little while to get there though, but very volatile. Bank of England's man says they're evaluating restrictiveness of policy in real time is challenging with various methodologies which have strengths and weaknesses. Whatever that means. Basically, it's hard to gauge strength or weakness in the economy. Duh. Obviously. It's hard. Alright, so we're still popping up. Looks good. Yeah, we got one trade that we're in here, but we've got ourselves back to break even for the most part here on this one. Up a small amount on the last little piece of it, but I'll let it ride and maybe add to it. There we go. If we get a pullback, we'll add to it. I don't want to add to it up here, it's too high. Alright, we got 2 contracts now. Gotta be careful because it's turning quick, but I'm very close to cutting it. I don't want to lose. Like we're gonna make money on this trade no matter what, even if we cut it in a loss on the rest. But I would love not to give more back here. That's better. That 925 level got bought up too. Look at that. Yeah, so we took half off just to make it less significant. And just write off the one. Let the run. There's some optimism regarding the U.S. All right, there we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that up there. So, not bad. Yeah, he's gone. He's just sensationalizing things, man. Like he's taking Besant out of context, saying that like the original escalation was bad. And then acting like it was recent after the big trade deal was announced, you know. All right, chat. We have 30 minutes roughly, 35 minutes until the market opens. Polestar is Volvo. I thought it was Volkswagen, but yeah, I think you're right. It actually is Volvo. I don't know anything about it. Gotcha. Yeah. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, great way to learn how to day trade with me. Most day traders lose. Doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow. Most day traders are going to lose. And so, yeah. Most day traders are going to lose regardless of where they go, what course they take, who they follow. Frankly, it's a lot cheaper to lose on Top Step most of the time than it is to fund your own account and lose thousands of dollars trying to look cool in markets like most new traders end up doing. You got to pay market tuition. Most day traders are going to lose their first couple accounts. And so again, with Top Step, they give you a 50K demo. They test your skill with it. If you can pass the test, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. And you get to keep your first 10K prior to that split kicking in. If you fail, you're out $50. Not the end of the world, you know. And learning how to trade with some pressure, but not losing tens of thousands of dollars per account, like most new traders end up doing, is a valuable thing. Futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the Dow, the Nasdaq, the Russell, gold, some currencies. It's the best of both worlds. You got limited risk. Base one's $50 a month. Split, it's 90%. You get to keep your first 10K in profit. It just makes sense, chat. It just makes sense. Again, I'm affiliated with them though, so I am biased in their favor. Not an investment professional. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link up. Here's the link right there. Great way to help support the channel. Understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. Can't guarantee anything, guys. Understand CFTC 4.41. There's the link in chat right there. Markets are trying to get higher here though. We're bouncing right there at 925s. 200 exponential, strong level here. I don't know if I like this level anymore though, this 915 level. I think it's kind of shown not to work, so I'm going to remove that one. 925's held strong though. Look at that. We bounced directly off of it. AMD starting to rip up, testing highs of the day here. Oh, I feel better, bro. Yeah, I was sick for like a week, dude. I really was, dude. I did not feel good for like a week straight. Hey, what's up, Kay? Hey, thank you, brother. Appreciate the love, bro. Thank you, sir. But yeah, I didn't feel good for like a week straight, man. I really didn't. Yeah, so what I had, stuffy nose, sore throat, low-grade fever, but it lingered. Like, it wasn't bad. Like, I ran a fever for like 2 days, and it was a low-grade fever. It didn't even feel that bad. I mean, I just kind of rested, but it lingered, man. It didn't go away. It took so long to go away, is what it was. Like, it took so long just to kind of feel normal again, you know. I couldn't train. I went back to jiu-jitsu on Saturday finally, and I felt much better, but like, man, I couldn't train for a while. It sucked. Yeah, my daughter got it first. All right, so I thought about 9:15 and I removed it from my charts. Here's 9:15. I'm looking at this just to see. I'm curious. Watch it work now that I removed it from my chart. No, it was. I was negative for everything. Wasn't the flu, wasn't strep, wasn't C, wasn't any of that stuff. I was negative for everything. So luckily, it was just some cold, and it felt like a cold. It didn't feel like anything super major. All right, look at this bounce right at 9:15 after I delete the level. I don't know, man. I tend to think inflation's going to be kind of flat this week. But who knows? You never know. CPI inflation data tomorrow. Big day. Big day. Could it break highs? I mean, we could break highs. I don't know. We are bouncing right at 9:15. We're already up a lot, though. You got to understand, like, the NASDAQ is already pumped up pretty big here. You know, NASDAQ is already... Look at this move overnight. So they announced the update to the tariff stuff early. The 90-day pause to the tariff stuff early. Now, we reported a lot of this on our X page. So if you look at our X.com page, we covered a lot of this stuff. Like, we covered a breakdown of what might happen this weekend on Friday. Yesterday, May 10th, on Saturday, Trump posted, quote, "a very good meeting with China and Switzerland. We negotiated a total reset." And so that made the markets go up. And then yesterday they announced the trade deal with China. And then today they announced that it was a 90-day pause. 90-day pause in tariffs, halting any new tariff increases. The U.S. is going to cut its duties on Chinese imports from 145 to 30%. China's going to reduce its tariffs on American goods from 125 to 10%. And that's obviously optimistic. Look at this bounce right at 9:15. So I guess I'll put it back up on the chart here, but man. All right, guys. We're here. Yeah, I know. I was muted. I was talking to my wife about something. No, I'm not covering Take-Two's earnings call. I'm curious about what Take-Two's going to say, though, regarding GTA 6 getting pushed back. So I am curious about what they're going to say regarding that. We got 25 minutes into the opening bell. I kind of want to buy this dip again, but it's just so choppy right now. I do kind of want to buy this dip. We'll try buy the dip. Hold on, let me see. We'll buy one contract here. One contract. All right, guys, so we added to this, and we got a complete retracement back down. I added to it because we might have that 925 support. But, man, we are just dumping back down here. Getting trapped a lot this morning, I realized. I mean, we're kind of flat on the day, so it could be worse, to be honest. But, man, just a lot of traps. I'll give it 1 second, but we're going to reduce size by half here. And now we got ourselves back to close to flat on the position. But, man, really choppy. Gold's starting to fight its way back up, though. Let me see if we got any other news. White House official says 232 tariffs are separate from pharma orders. Like, we're still red on the day, but it's not much, and we're just going to have to cut that, too. Market is just chopping back and forth. Yeah. I think we've limited our losses, though, to be honest. A lot of traps this morning. We'll have to wait until the opening. We got 25 minutes until the opening bell. You can see gold start to push up, too. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're down less than $100, so that's always good if it's very small. And we got time to maybe make it back at the opening bell. We just got to wait. Look at this turn, though. So look at the market turn back down here. Maybe extension, maybe profit taking going on. That could happen, too, for sure. Big pump at the open. It's a 5% day. Yeah. Look at this drop coming through. So we're under the 200 exponential. Gold's starting to head up. Palantir's starting to turn down. Meta's starting to turn down too, but Palantir's starting to turn down a little bit deeper than other stuff. AMD's pulling back a little bit here. I want to put like Nvidia on the chart. Nvidia's coming down as well, but it's not like as significant here. What's Palantir? Is Palantir listed heavy on the NASDAQ? So Palantir is not listed on the NASDAQ. I thought it was added to it. Was it the S&P? Yeah, so Palantir is in the S&P. What's the rank? Palantir might be ranked 30 by weight. Oh, Palantir's number 29. It makes up 0.5% of the S&P 500. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. All right, guys. NASDAQ still flushing down a little bit here, team. Yeah, what's the symbol? Is it KDLY? Yeah, look at KDLY. Pawn's bringing it up. Look at this. KDLY flying up here. They merged with Nakamoto to start a Bitcoin treasury strategy. It includes 510 million pipe financing and 200 million in notes. Up to almost $30 here. Yeah, I've got beaten up enough in pre-market for me to just want to wait now. And then I'll wait and see if we can find any good strategies. After the opening bell. Yeah, so I did see that news. We'll be opening down and then at 10 skyrocket. What happens at 10? You just think 10 o'clock is the time? We don't really have any news today either. Tomorrow's the big news. It's the day before CPI inflation data though. So like that's really what's going on today. It's the day before CPI. So with that showing up, like it's a big day because we got CPI inflation data tomorrow. Thursday is honestly a crazier day. Thursday, just to put this into perspective, usually CPI is big. Thursday, you know, usually it goes CPI Wednesday or CPI Tuesday, PPI Wednesday or something like that. Today, or this week, it is CPI Tuesday, PPI Thursday. So we skip a day, Wednesday, and we don't really have much going on Wednesday, I don't think either. Let me check. Which is odd. Yeah, we don't really have anything going on. We got Waller speaking early in the morning on Wednesday, but that's it. But Thursday is a freaking strange day. Thursday, we have retail sales, housing starts for Canada, PPI inflation data, which is kind of the producer price index, which is like wholesale inflation. We got jobless claims, unemployment, the Empire State Manufacturing Index, the Philly Fed Index, retail sales. I don't know if I said that. So let me go through this again. We've got jobless claims, PPI, Empire State Manufacturing, Philly Fed Manufacturing, jobless claims, retail sales, PPI, Empire State Manufacturing, Philly Fed Manufacturing, Jerome Powell speaking, industrial production, Atlanta Fed GDP now later on in the morning too, and then Japanese GDP and more. So we got a whole bunch of stuff on Thursday for some reason, and it's probably one of the busiest days this week. We got Jerome Powell, and then Friday we got Michigan consumer sentiment data, which has been a bigger and bigger release, as well as housing starts, building permits, and other stuff. So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We'll see what happens, but it's an interesting week for sure. It's a busy week for sure. So just stick around, be ready. We're gonna day trade the opening bell live. Shout out to my mom and wife for Mother's Day. You know. Also, when is his next speech? Is it today? Is it today? 15 minutes, chat. 15 minutes. Is it today? I don't know. He speaks every freaking day. It's hard to keep track of all the stuff he says, to be honest. Like, every freaking day he speaks, it's hard to keep track of what he's going to say. We don't really have anything going on today. Today's kind of slow. What's up, Faye? Hope you're doing good. All right. We will speak about the deal with China and much more. At 9 a.m. Oof. Is it really? Well, was it 9 a.m. 15 minutes ago? It's going to be at the opening bell, bro. Hold on, let me look this up. Now I got to look this up. Okay, so he's expected to sign an order that U.S. pays same drug prices as other nations at 9 o'clock. He's promising will direct the Department of Health and Human Services to tie what Medicare pays for medications. I'll be instituting a most favored nations policy. Okay. And I'm pretty sure this already happened. Yeah, so I don't think he's going to be talking about... Let me look. I don't think he's going to be talking about the U.S.-China trade deal. I mean, we'll cover it, but, like, I don't know if I'm going to stream it. We'll probably trade. So the news came out early this morning, 77, about a 90-day pause to Chinese tariffs on both sides. They've reduced tariffs by over 75% or more total net percentage drop to tariffs. That is what's making the market gap up 4 to 5% today, you know, is the 90-day pause to U.S.-China tariffs, excluding a couple small ones, but it's mostly a pause in all the tariffs from the U.S. and China. We covered it early this morning. That news did drop this morning. Market's up almost 5% today. Yeah, so that's what's going down this morning. Again, we're going to be day trading on Top Step right now, live at the opening bell. We're right at the 200 exponential. I kind of want to short this, but like my luck is like I've been going long all day. The moment I start to short, boom, losses. Where do you get 5%? Because we're gapped up between we gapped up from basically 20,000 all the way to 21K. That's a 5% gap up. Maybe not exactly 5%, but it's like 4.5 or something. So I'm just calling it 5. Yeah, and so look, I wanted to short this, and then look at this move. Look at the following move here. We ended up just ripping up. Maybe not a rip, but we went up afterwards. So good thing I stopped myself from trading. Now I gotta wait. We got 12 minutes into the opening bell chat. 12 minutes. Yeah, he's gonna be talking about the reduction of prescription pricing. If it was on tariffs, if it was like, hey, we got U.S.-China deal press conference, I would cover it. But talking about prescription drugs, not really super interested. I mean, we'll pay attention to what he says. But I'm not really going to hyper-focus on that. Especially at the opening bell. We're going to cover the open. Alright, guys, we don't have much time left. 10 minutes. Kind of a choppy market. I'm just waiting here, to be honest, man. All right, so we're starting to creep back up here. We're over 925s. We're over 915s. NVIDIA's testing the volume-weighted average price. I still got to look at Palantir because Palantir is one of the stocks that broke down some this morning. Why is retail crypto running for days now? I don't know. Bitcoin's been running, man. Bitcoin over 104,000, 103,000. It's on the move. It's over 100K for the first time in a while. Yeah, I mean, Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy buying stuff up. Like, that's probably what it is. Now I kind of want to buy again if we get a pullback, but man, again, it just hasn't been working well for me. Yeah, Bitcoin just following the rest of the markets. But I don't know. If that was the case, Bitcoin would be up a little bit today, and it's not. So I think Bitcoin's on doing its thing. That is kind of, I'm not going to say it's counter to other markets. I just don't know if it's necessarily super correlated based off of what it's been doing. Yeah, we're waiting for the opening bell in 8 minutes, Chad, is what we're waiting for. All right, I can't help myself but buy this dip. Look, I just can't help it. I'm going to buy one contract. A little baby trade here. Don't judge me. I got to do it. Here we go. And we're going to cut it. All right. I couldn't help it. That 915 level is too cheap. That was a big red candle, too. And we ended up popping right back up. Lately, what's been happening is I've been buying into positions. It's been going in my favor. And then I'll add to it trying to get some better reward, and then it'll just kind of completely reverse back down. And so I'm just going to take profits on that one and get out. Yeah, you can trade micro Bitcoin futures. All right, guys. The market's still popping back up. Maybe I could have held that last one, but Nvidia rejected it. Look at the VWAP here for Nvidia. What reports do we have this week? We have, I might run out of breath saying them. We have CPI inflation, jobless claims unemployment, retail sales data, Philly Fed Index, New York Empire State Manufacturing Index. We got Jerome Powell speaking. We got PPI inflation data. We got jobless claims unemployment filings. We got University of Michigan consumer sentiment data this week. We got a lot of stuff this week. All right, look at Nvidia turn here. Something just happened with Nvidia. Look at Nvidia turn. Nasdaq's coming down with it a little bit here, so the Nasdaq's starting to flush down with us. We'll see what happens, but yeah, Nasdaq's coming down. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff. 10-year treasuries up this morning after. It's probably because people are unloading treasuries. Yields are up, that is, not the actual treasuries, but yields are up this morning. Bond prices, underlying bond prices are actually down. Yeah, it's volatile for sure. All right, AMD's coming back. And we're supposed to have the president speak in 3 minutes. We'll see if he says anything good, though. All right, guys, so we're gonna trade the opening bell. We got 3 minutes. We're gonna wait until a couple minutes pass after the opening bell first, though. I don't want to get stuck in the crazy volatility of the open, so I want to wait and let things play out first a little bit here before that. All right, guys. Yeah, 10-year treasury up. It just means people are selling bonds. Like, bond yields and bond prices inverse each other. And so if yields are flying, that means the bond prices are going down, which means people are selling them. And then remember, yields and interest rates tend to follow each other because yields going up kind of means economic strength is seen. Like, anytime we get some data that shows economic strength, it usually means yields are higher. It means inflation is more of a fear. Economy's growing, and we have less of a need to cut rates. And so if you look at the rate cut expectations, they're not expecting rate cuts now until September. It's pushed all the way back till September now. So all right, guys, here we go. Nasdaq still pushing up a little bit. I kind of want to buy a 925 level, but we're too close to the opening bell. I'm gonna let things settle first. So I am gonna let things settle first. We'll also kind of on the back end watch what the president says. Meta's bouncing back up to over 630s. And again, if you want to check out Top Step Day Trade with me, no PDT and futures. You can day trade the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, gold, currencies. In some places, Top Step gives you a 50K demo. It's the most effective way to learn day trading without losing tens of thousands of dollars like most new day traders end up doing. And that's my genuine, honest opinion. It's the most effective way to learn day trading without losing tens of thousands of dollars. You're still risking something. You still have to learn how to trade under pressure. It conditions you to be a better trader learning in a structured environment. If you pass it, you get a 90% split, which is similar to funding your own account, and you get to keep your first 10K. Prior to that split kicking in, if you fail the challenge, you're out $50. It's not the end of the world for the base one, at least. No PDT rule. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, basically the SPY and Q price action. They've paid out hundreds of millions. They fund thousands. A great way to learn. And you can check them out right here. It's also pinned to the top of the chat. Top 3 most biased traders of all time. They're an affiliate of mine. I am biased because I get paid by them. Always try to be honest and transparent about that. All right, guys. So right now, we got 30 seconds to the opening bell, chat. 30 seconds. 90-day pause in China tariffs was announced today. That is broadly hyping up a lot of stocks and markets. People are more optimistic. So we're starting to dip down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's the bell, guys. There's the bell. Flush underneath the 200 exponential at the opening bell. We just flushed underneath the 200 EMA before retracing all the way back up. It's very volatile. Look at Nvidia spike up to almost 123.50s at the opening bell. 122.50s, I mean. Palantir is falling down, though. So is AMD, but Nvidia did spike up here. Tesla decreasing a little bit at the opening bell too, falling down to 318s now. So we will pivot to a short thesis because of all this bear action. Look at Palantir, Tesla, AMD, and more falling down. Google's up though. Netflix is dropping. Look at this drop. Wow. Looking really weak. I gotta wait at least a couple minutes until the opening bell plays out. Massive drops. Massive drops. A lot of red. AMD, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon. Going red this morning. All right, so I'm 2 minutes into the opening bell. I will short a bounce up here, but we need a bounce. And it looks like my thesis of us going up to tap 21,000 was just wrong. We are going the opposite way. Well, I mean, the market's already gapping up 3, 4, 5% this morning. So it makes sense that we're contracting a little bit from profit taking from all the strength that we've seen. So it's not the end of the world either. I mean, look, this is where we started. We are now way up here. So it's not a shock. I'm looking at 20.8s though. I could buy a dip here too, but do I want to buy a dip? Thinking about it. Maybe that was the time. I don't like catching falling knives, but I think we got a cheap long entry here too, but we'll see. A lot of bearish action right now. I'll wait. We're only 2.5 minutes into the opening bell, so I gotta let things settle first. See, I talked about a cheap long. I should have taken it. Nvidia's starting to creep back up. I will short a bounce to 850 though, but who knows, man. All right, we're gonna jump in short here. First trade since the opening bell. There we go. All right, we're out. We just made a quick little $30 profit. Quick little $30 profit. I'll take it. Green is good. We rejected right off of that 850 level that we wanted, so we'll let it figure what else it wants to do out now. Still red showing up here, chat. Wow, very red showing up. Still dropping. Trying to wait to like a more opportune moment here. I want to get my snipping tool out here. There we go. We had Monday. NASDAQ falling down. Let's see if it bounces at 800 though. All right, so we bounced right off of 800. Look at Palantir come all the way down to 116s. Big reversal. Meta down to 622s. Tesla hit 314s. It seems like a cheap entry. But let's see if we can find something. So if we get a little pullback, we'll buy it. Okay, we'll try to buy it right there. All right, another green trade. Nice. We'll see if we'll let it go up some more. And then a retracement all the way back down. Don't like that. Let's see. Now we're right back up. I'm going to cut this and get out flat here. I just don't like that. And it looks like that was the right move. I don't like the price action here. We'll buy back at 800s if we get something good. But all right, we got two contracts here. There you go. Retracing all the way back up. Yeah, we're going to cut it. So we didn't actually lose that much there. We could have lost more. It's looking too weak right now, though. Let's see if we can poke at it again here. There we go. All right, we took half off there. Add a little bit more, see if we can get another pop. See, it's just not holding. Very whippy. Popping right back up. I'm going to take half off quick there. So we get out the rest flat. Maybe I could add to it again, but a little bit too close to the opening bell for me, I think. All right, so we're going back and forth. I'm going to switch accounts. We've gone back and forth. We're down a little bit on this account. It could be worse, though. It really isn't that much. And then this account we haven't traded at all. It's just too much unknown and kind of whippy price action in that other one. We'll let things settle. Honestly, I've thought a lot about trading the Power Hour. I do really well when I go on Top Step TV at Power Hour too. So I've thought a lot about trading that. Just getting a broad sell-off, profit taking mostly, I'm guessing. We're already up, what, 2, 3, 4% still. So let's see if we can find a bottom here. See, Nvidia's still turning though. Look at Nvidia turn. Look at Nvidia drop. So this is the only thing I'm worried about here. Nvidia's coming down. Is the background music too loud? Let me know. Let me know. Oof, we're so close. We're almost back to green on the other account. All right, so we are now effectively green on the other account that we were trading on. I took some moments to trade it off stream. What I saw was Nvidia finding a bottom here. And so we are now green on this account too. Sometimes if I'm getting my butt kicked on stream, I'm like, hey, I'm going to trade this off stream for a little bit. It's too much pressure. You guys should understand. But we did get ourselves back green on the day. Nice little string of green. You can see all that here. We're still under 800 though. I want to see what Nvidia does. We also have Amazon breaking down. Amazon's at 206. Tesla fell down a lot too. See, people saying they can barely hear it, then others saying it's too loud. It's hard to figure out which one's the truth. I like buying this dip here too, but I think there's a cheap entry on a dip. But the problem is that the momentum's been so bearish. Like, I don't want to trade against the trend, and the trend's definitely red since the open. $10 since the open. We'll see if we can buy a little dip here. We'll try it. All right, we got one contract though. We got one micro contract, and I'm not going to add to it. We're just going to leave this thing alone. I'm just leaving this thing alone. If we break down enough, we'll cut it. But I think I don't know. See, it depends. Look at Nvidia. Nvidia's starting to reverse here as well. So I got to think about cutting this a little bit more than normal because of Nvidia. Yeah, I got to cut it. Oh my gosh, dude. I accidentally double clicked it. It lagged a little bit and I double clicked it. I didn't want to short at the bottom here. I'm going to cut this. I didn't want to short it down there. I really didn't. I maybe could have held it a little bit more, but that's all right. Nvidia just turned. Amazon's still breaking down too. But see, I don't think that we're going to keep giving it back though. Like, maybe I'm staying stubborn with my long thesis, but I tend to think we're going to keep, like, eventually we're going to head back up. Who knows how long it'll take though if I keep breaking down. Oh, is he speaking right now? I forgot he's speaking. Hold on, let me check. Maybe that's what's influencing this. Okay, so we got ourselves back to green again on that other account, but it's not easy. If you want to see it. Green again, but again, it's not easy to make this. Like, it's very back and forth. I tend to think we're cheap down here and that we're going to bounce back, but that thesis has been wrong all morning. All right, I'll try to do it again. This is attempt number 2 at buying the dip and getting destroyed on the downside. Maybe it's like attempt number 5. See, we're building up a little cushion though, and then we're attacking it on the upside. So, like, I think it's more justifiable. And I think maybe once profit taking sell like stops on the downside, we'll get some upward action here. But maybe not. Maybe we just keep dumping down. All right, so China's foreign minister says Wang Yi met with Guyana counterpart in Beijing. There we go. Nice. I'm gonna go to cut that up there too. So, all right, got a little string of green trades here buying these dips. Palantir's starting to fight back, and so is Nvidia. Why do people keep saying no deal? Where do y'all see no deal going on? Why close trades so early? Well, because I've been holding trades longer today and I've just gotten destroyed. And so once I get up 20, 30 ticks, I usually just cut it, take profit, and let it build up. I'm actually green on the day for the first time, and it's been a long fight back to green. And so we're taking very quick short-term like scalping positions because low confidence mostly. All right, we'll buy this again. And we'll see if we get a rip back up. There we go. Looks a little heavy. For a flat day, it feels bad. Could be worse. We're gonna try to buy this. I'm going to unload half of this position just because I don't like it. It's taking too long. We'll give it a little bit of time. Now we're back to flat on the day, but I'd rather be risk averse today just because I'm not really feeling my trades. There's some days where I'm like, yeah, my trades are great, and then there's other days where I'm like, man, my trade sucks. Today's the latter. And you got to be risk averse sometimes and not always be pushing. Ideally, I want 800's profit target here, though. There we go. I'm just going to cut that there. We're back to green on the day. We didn't quite get 800, but we got something. We made money on the trade, so that's good. Green on the day, but... All right, so we're 20 minutes into the open. We're over that 28, so we could have gotten 28s too. Look at Palantir come all the way back, almost up to 120s. Is he still not live yet? I mean, I've been going long on my last few trades, making money. I've mostly been long all day, to be honest. So, like, I've mostly been green all day. Or, like, I've mostly been green in terms of, like I am attacking upside. You know? Consolidating around 20.8. All right, guys. So the president did just speak on something. So the president said the leaders of India and Pakistan were unwavering. U.S. assisted a lot, supports the full and immediate ceasefire, ready to help them with trade. Yeah, and again, it's kind of boring out here, man. Like we went down a lot at the start of the day, and now we're just like we're kind of flat. Or kind of boring here. Quick GameStop analysis. GameStop losing steam, losing hype, losing the meme. Since Palantir, they're losing the meme traders' interest. Not a lot going on with it. Video games are losing losing the race to digital downloads. Memories, storage capabilities getting better. They pivoted to Pokemon cards and collectibles, which I think is a good pivot, but I don't know if they still have. I don't think they have the support of that community yet, because I think they're still kind of ripping them off in some ways, and I think it's inevitable that GameStop will eventually fail unless they do something drastic. And I think they need to close a lot of stores to stay profitable too. So we'll see what happens. I hope they succeed. I really do. I'm not super confident in them. You know, if that makes sense. Just not super hyper confident in them. I'm going to get out of here, though, guys. Hey, listen, if you want to check out Top Step, great way to help support your boy here on this channel. No PDT rule on futures. They give you a demo, test your skill with it. You pass the test, they fund you. You fail, you only lose what you pay for it. In this case, the base one's $50. They give you a 50K demo. If you can make 3K in profit in that 50K demo without losing 2K following their rules, they fund you 50K, 90% split, and they've paid out hundreds of millions, fund thousands. And most pro day traders trade futures. It's a skill you can build for the rest of your life if you learn how to do it successfully. But almost all new traders lose their first couple accounts. And so instead of depositing tens of thousands of dollars into your own account, try this. It limits your risk. You're still risking something. You're still learning how to trade in a structured environment under pressure. If you pass it, similar to funding your own account in terms of split. If you fail, it's usually much less risk. But I'm biased because I get paid by them. But if you want to check it out, if you use my link and go to TopStepX, 0 commission, tiny amount of fees per trade. There's the link. I'm going to get out of here while I'm green. I'm slightly green on the day. You can see I'm slightly green. And this is the only account that I've really traded on, I think, today. I don't think I traded on my other one. I think I've only traded on this one. And yeah, slightly green, slightly green. I'll take it. Green is good. I'm going to get out of here before I give it back. I love you all. Y'all have a great day. Be safe. Be back tomorrow. CPI inflation data tomorrow. CPI inflation data tomorrow. Guys, be ready. Y'all be safe. I'll see you guys later.